Hello again, chaps and chapheads. How are we all doing? It is lovely to see you all again. As always, before we go any further, my dear friends, I want to thank each and every single one of you who stopped by my channel yesterday to wish me a happy birthday. It really did mean the world to me that so many of you stopped by to wish me very many happy returns and took time out of your day to, just drop me a few kind words. So yeah, I really do appreciate it and thank you very much. I did have a nice day, considering I'm 1 year closer to the graveyard, but enough depressing stuff, enough being morbid. I did get some actual nice presents off my family and what have you, which I'm going to quickly, very quickly run through with you, because there's nothing worse than someone going through their presents on their birthday or Christmas that you really don't give a shit about. So yeah, I will make this very brief. Off my mother-in-law, I got a gift set of pork scratchings. Mustard flavour all the way down to some kind of very hot chilli flavour. Excuse me, they didn't last very long, as you can tell by the empty box. Off my sister-in-law and her husband, I got some Dark Souls socks. And off my mum and my sister, I got a £30 gift voucher for Xbox Live. Yes, I am 43 and not 13. I do still get gifts that evolve around video games, even at my age. And of course, off my missus and off my kids, I got a new tablet case, which is well needed, because the red one that I used to have was dropping to bits of thread hanging off it, and various other shit dropping to bits. And the pièce de résistance off my missus. I'm a huge fan of the Back to the Future movie franchises, and my missus got me a model DeLorean. It's very heavy, made of metal, and it's even got the little hook from Back to the Future 2 that propels Marty McFly back to 1985. So yeah, I'm very impressed with that. So without further ado, guys, thanks again for the birthday wishes. I really do appreciate it. Let's get down to business on tonight's video. Tonight, my dear friends, we are going to be talking about a man who has been dubbed the Mosque Buster. Now, basically, what this man does, he goes around up and down the country and stops planning permission that has been put forward by Muslim communities to erect new mosques in this country. This man is basically doing the Lord's work for all of us in England. Well, the whole of UK, to be honest. And the reason I wanted to make this video in the first place, I've just finished watching an interview with this man, and I wanted to talk to you about the proceedings that he has to go through to get these mosques stopped, and how the Muslims actually go about getting these mosques erected in certain areas in the country. He started off by talking about how the Muslim people within that area treat the majority white residents in the area. They first start by knocking on all the doors that they know of within the area where these mosques are being planned to be erected, and they attempt to buy the properties from these residents at a fraction of the price. This Mosque Buster chap says it's about a third of the market value that they would get from an estate agent or someone selling it privately. And they usually put like a little sweetener in there. We will offer you so much for your property, and we will pay for a cruise for you and your husband, or you and your family, or pay for a nice holiday in Dubai, all expenses paid in some nice plush hotel, just to wet the whistle a little bit. And the people who say no, I don't want to sell, this is not for sale, this is nowhere near the market price, we are staying put. Certain things start happening to these people's houses. Like when they're out and about, they come back and one of their gate posts has been knocked over mysteriously. Or one of their windows has been put through mysteriously. Or they get something untoward posted through their letterbox. This chap didn't go into specifics, but I assume it's something like an envelope full of dog shit. Maybe not dog shit. I mean, these people are terrified of dogs. What should we say? Maybe some goat shit? I mean, I'm pretty sure there's plenty of goats in the Muslim community, won't you say, guys? Wink, wink. And I have first-hand experience with this. You see, my grandparents used to live in a certain area in Lancaster, my hometown, that has become a huge majority Muslim street sort of area. It wasn't like that when they first moved there. They've lived there since probably about the early 60s or something like that. Whenever my mum and my sister were born, that's when they came over and moved to England. And once my granddad passed away, because he was quite a stern person, very, very tough to get through to, he wouldn't have had people knocking on the door and trying to buy his house, yeah, he would have gone absolutely ballistic. So once he was out of the way, my nana had weekly visits from various Muslim people around the area wanting to buy her house. Now, I'm not bragging or anything like that, but this house was a huge house. All bought and paid for, mortgage paid for, no debts, anything like that. They kept knocking, ringing, bringing around food, trying to sweeten her up during COVID, making sure she's all right and stuff like that, offering her money time after time after time and again. And when she kept stopping and saying, no, it's not for sale, I don't want to move. I mean, she was in the mid-80s at this point, guys. She didn't want to move out of a five-bedroomed house with 2 bathrooms, 80 odd years old, getting all stuff out, moving into a bungalow. It'd been too much stress, it would have killed her. She kept knocking them back, saying no, saying no. And then once she started getting the message across, certain things started happening to her house as well, like eggs getting thrown at her windows, people knocking on the door and running away, stuff like that. So that infuriated me. I was still living in my hometown at this time. So me, the biggest friend I could possibly find, we spent the night at my nan's. We stayed up all night, curtains drawn, and we waited and waited until something happened. And something did happen. Someone threw about 4 eggs at the window. Suffice to say, at the time, me and this mate of mine, we chased these people down. And you can imagine the sort of people that we caught. Now, initially, of course, we wanted to beat these little fuckers black and blue. But, stupidly, I mean, the way this country is, we would have been in more trouble than these people harassing an 80-odd-year-old woman. So we waited for the police to come. They were taken away. Nothing ever came of it. And, thankfully, it stopped. But my nana was on the receiving end of the same behaviour that this mosque buster, Freudian slip, was actually talking about. And then he moved on to the procedure that he has to go through to stop these mosques being erected in these areas. You see, what you have to do, he said, you can't mention a religion, you can't mention race or anything like that when you put forward your complaints about these mosques being erected in your local area. You have to keep it sanitary, you have to keep it clean, non-racist or any of these bouncy fluffy words that people use. You have to be talking about the congestion of parking, you have to talk about the noise pollution, you have to talk about how it's going to affect the overall ambience of the area you're going to be living in. And each and every single person who has an objection to this mosque, you have to write into the council and use those specific words. You can't use race and you can't use religion because it will just be thrown right out as racial nonsense. You have to play it smart, you see. And he went over a couple of other things, but as the interview was wearing on, they started moving away from the work he did and started talking about the general state of the country. So yeah, I'm basically going to leave it there, guys. I just wanted to bring it to you that this man works single-handed. No, excuse me, he doesn't work single-handed. He has 2 helpers. There's a 3-man team up and down the country stopping mosques being erected. He has one guy he employs who checks out the complaints that people come to him with, saying, oh, yada, 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 we have a proposal for a mosque in our area and we don't want it. And that guy that he employs investigates whether it is a mosque or not. And it goes on from there. I can't remember what the other guy does. It's just a 3-man team to do the entire country of stopping these mosques being opened. This guy also said when people like Tommy Robinson and Britain First get involved with the erection of these mosques, it doesn't help the cause. I believe there was one case, I can't remember where it was, I do apologise, my friends. There was one case where there was one mosque that wanted to be opened and Paul Golding and Britain First got involved and it got passed. Because I do believe the councillors would have thought it was some kind of Islamophobic, kind of racist objection to this mosque being open. So yeah, he sort of like denounces other people getting involved and he likes to do it single-handedly. And he's done it quite well because on his website, which I will give you in just a second, on his website it stipulates that Gavin Boby, by the way, is his name. That's his proper name, not the Mosque Buster that people have coined him as. It's gavinboby.com, which is GAVINBOBY.com. He has a Patreon link there. If you want to go over and give what you can, give him a donation, then please do feel free to do so, guys, because this man is doing the Lord's work for me, you, and everybody else up and down the country by stopping these eyesores being propped up here, there, and everywhere. I can't stand the sight of these fucking things. The entirety of England should have, at the maximum, 2 mosques. One in Birmingham and one in London. There's no need to have them spread out across the shires, tiny little towns and villages where people like to go and retire and see out the rest of the days. They don't want a fucking mosque and some loudspeaker with a call to prayer. Of course they don't. Anyway, regardless, on this guy's website, it says he has won 68 out of 111 planning permissions for new mosques. That is astronomical, my dear friends. What is it, man, about 60 or 70% of the planning permissions that he has gone in for, he has stopped. Doesn't get any funding, all goes from donations. He does it single-handed, him and his 2-man team. I think that is stellar work, my friends. I've only just recently been brought on to this guy through the interview that I saw earlier tonight. I've made a donation myself. Like I say, if you want to donate for his fucking great work that he's doing, head over to gavinboby.com and there's a Patreon link there. So yeah, just give what you can if you want, because this guy fully deserves it. And that's my video, my dear friends. Oh, I do want to mention one more thing that he mentioned in his interview. He stipulated, right, that when the shit hits the fan in this country and we possibly, maybe, heading into a civil war, maybe a race war or a religious war, you know, things like that. I can't go too deep for obvious reasons. He stipulated that he foresees that all these mosques up and down the country will be used as fortresses, where weaponry and radical individuals will be kept safe and secure. And I think he's perfectly correct there. Do you remember in the Southport riots where Nick Lowles jeered up all the Muslims in the area saying that the far right are coming to throw acid in Muslim women's faces or something along them lines? And they were hitting the streets. And what did the police say? Can you remember? They said, go back to the mosques and put your weapons in the mosques. Like some kind of armory. I think he's spot on, guys. Do go and check him out on his website. Let me know what you think in the comments as always. Carpe diem. And I'll see you in a bit. Cheers.